Any of us can be best-selling authors. And not only that, we also can be script writers, musicians, software developers, illustrators. But no, I'm not referring to the typical motivational phrase, I will tell my daughter. You can be anything you want in life. I'm talking about something much more literal, because today, any of us can write a book in a matter of hours. So, what has changed? It's not that we're suddenly smarter, or that we became much more creative. What has happened is that AI has burst into the scene. Let me show you something. Disney, Warner Bros., Universal Pictures sue Chinese AI companies. OpenAI overhauls copyright policy after Sora's DOS Pokémon mania backfires. AI company tells appeal court decision in legal research copyright case will have sweeping consequence for innovations. Meta gana un importante caso de derechos de autor tras utilizar libros entrenados con su IA. The New York Times demanda a OpenAI and Microsoft por el uso de obras con derechos de autor. These images represent real cases that are already reaching the court. And here is the real problem. Most of these AI systems are not trained in a vacuum. They are trained on 1 million of copyrighted works. But behind every work, there are people. People who have devoted time, talent, and effort to creating something new. People whose rights should be protected by law. People who have the right to reclaim copyright over their work. And so they did, achieving what the plaintiffs describe as the largest publicly reported copyright recovery settlement in history. This is not science fiction. This is exactly what happened in the Anthropic case just a month ago. But first, let me tell you who Anthropic is. Anthropic is one of the leading companies in artificial intelligence. It is recognized for developing advanced systems that are changing the way businesses create, automate, and process information. In short, it is one of the key players shaping the future of AI. So now that we know who Anthropic is and what role it plays in the future of AI, the key question is, what exactly have its systems done to generate so much debate and end up in court? The plaintiffs allege that Anthropic trained its AI using copyrighted works without permission, articles, books, images. In other words, they took advantage of the works of thousands of authors to create a multi-million-dollar commercial product. This began a global, legal, and ethical debate. But Anthropic alleged that its AI did not literally copy content, but rather use it to create patterns and generating something new. This defense is known as fair use, and it's not unique to Anthropic. Other big tech companies have invoked it, just like Google Books in 2015. The Anthropic case has made headlines around the world. Recently, a preliminary settlement of $1.5 billion was reached, the largest copyright settlement in history. Here is the big question. Is it wrong to draw inspiration from the work of others to creating something new? Pablo Picasso once said, "Good artists copy, great artists steal." At first glance, it seems an incitement to imitate. But in reality, he's talking about taking ideas and transforming them into something of your own. And throughout history, Great artists have been inspired by others, and not just in art. In technology, Steve Jobs defended this idea of creating theft. He argued that taking existing ideas and transforming them, it is essential to create innovative and successful products. But we don't need to go to art or technology to understand this. Let's make it more simple, more everyday. Every night, when I get home, I compare my husband's mood. He's there. Is he happy than yesterday? Did Football Club Barcelona lose again? What can I do so that tomorrow he finally loads the dishwasher? And you all do the same, right? We all take reference points and we learn by comparing. We've done it since we're kids. And this very human mechanism, learning by comparison, it's what's at stake with AI. Because the line between being inspired, imitating, and simply copying without permission becomes much more blurred. Now maybe some of you are thinking, okay, Laura, this case against Anthropic is interesting, but we are not Anthropic. We are not training AI with millions of copyrighted books. So what does this have to do with me, with my future career, or with the company I might build one day? The answer is everything. Because this case teaches us something very simple. Artificial intelligence is never neutral. Every time we choose to use it, we're making a business decision, a legal decision, and an ethical decision all at once. If in the future you launch a startup or you lead an organization that integrates AI, you will need to answer 3 questions. Where does the data come from? If you don't know it, you might be building on unstable ground, just like Anthropic did. Second question, what risks are you willing to accept? And not just legal risks like lawsuits, also reputational risks. A brand that is perceived as unethical can lose trust overnight. The third question, what opportunities exist if you do it right? Because there is also a positive side. If you are transparent with your clients, if you commit to using AI responsibly, you can turn ethics into a competitive advantage. In the near future, trust will be as valuable as capital. And let me give you an example. Not long ago, Stability AI, the company behind the image generator Stable Diffusion, faced lawsuits from artists who argue their work had been used without permission. The result? A huge reputational hit. Many designers refused to use their technology. Contrast that with companies that openly communicate their source, set boundaries, and respect creators. They might grow slowly, but they will grow with credibility. And I see this tension every day in my work as a lawyer. Companies come to me asking, Laura, can we use ChatGPT to process customer data? Can we use AI to screen job applicants? And the legal answer is often yes, but. And that but is everything, because behind it are the reputational or legal risks that might define whether a company or trusts or loses it. And this doesn't only apply to entrepreneurs. As future managers, consultants, or creative, you might work in a world where AI is present in almost every process. Understanding that behind every prompt, every algorithm, there are human choices about ethics, values, and legal will give you power. So the conclusion is clear. The Anthropic case is not just about one company and a group of authors. It is a mirror, and it forces us to ask, what kind of entrepreneurs, leaders, and creatives do we want to be in the age of AI? Because the future of AI will not be written only in code. It will be written in the choices we make today. Do we choose speed over fairness? Do we choose convenience over privacy? Do we choose short-term gain over long-term trust? The Anthropic case is just one chapter in a much bigger book. But here is the good news. That book is still being written, and you, the students, the entrepreneurs, the thinkers in this room, you are the authors. And speaking of authors, remember how I started saying that today, with AI, any of us could write a book in just a few clicks. Well, the truth is, the real bestseller we are co-writing is in the future of AI itself. So my invitation to you is simple. As you build your companies, your careers, your ideas, don't just ask, can we do that with AI? Ask also, should we? Because the businesses and leaders who dare to ask that question will not only avoid lawsuits, they will be the ones who prove that an AI-powered future can also be a human-centered future. Thank you.